Welcome to Zack Attack Reviews. Thank you for joining for my review of Dogma. This is a part of my Throwback Thursday series that I do on my channel where my subscribers vote on old movies that I post on my community tab for me to review and show my thoughts. So if you are not a subscriber yet, you should subscribe to the channel and hit on that community tab so you can vote for my next review. Dogma was a movie that I was excited to check out when I did my Kevin Smith's theme poll because I heard it's his best work yet. But based on the thumbnail, you can kind of tell where this review is going. And I'm going to break down the good, I'm going to break down the bad, and on how I feel about this film overall. Let's start with the premise. Two fallen angels who were ejected from paradise find themselves banned in Wisconsin. They are headed for New Jersey, where they find a loophole to get back into heaven. The only catch is that it will destroy all of humanity and existence. Let's start off with the good. So Kevin Smith's fingerprints of his thoughts, I could feel it like coming through this movie. His thoughts on Catholicism, his thoughts on organized religion, on religious beliefs in total, how it's flawed and how it strays away from what he believes that the faith and spirituality is supposed to be, how it's supposed to be more of an idea that can expand and be changed once we evolve as human beings. And I think that that's a very ambitious idea to do in a movie that's satirical, has a whole bunch of jokes, kind of makes fun of religion in a certain way, is very violent and vulgar at the same time, but has that core in there so you can take it a little bit seriously and get a little bit of nuggets of things that way it makes you think about it. And I definitely thought about a lot of the conversations that were happening in this movie. And I could really see Kevin Smith really having those conversations with himself through these characters. So I thought all that was fascinating. And this is a character-driven story. The main plot of the story is kind of not, I want to say shallow, but it's not really the driving force. Yeah, they got to get to New Jersey, but they make so many stops along the way. It doesn't seem like it's a super priority for them to do it. And it feels like when they get there, it's really about you sticking with these characters, going on a journey, having fun, and dealing with all the wacky stuff that they go through. My favorite character in the movie was Chris Rock's Rufus, the 13th apostle that was left out of the Bible because he was black. I thought all that was really hilarious because in the black community, we talk about a lot of figures that were left out of history books or not mentioned, and they were in important spaces that helped change society. You know, a movie like Hidden Figures talks about that. So it's funny to see Kevin Smith kind of allude to something like that all the way back in 1999. And I really enjoyed, Chris Rock is always funny to me, and he was really hilarious here with his facial expressions when it was just so over the top and crazy and wild how he reacted to a lot of things. But I thought that his conversations that he had with Bethany and the deep conversations he had with that character had some of the best lines and best things to say in the film. And I felt like there's a lot of exposition in this film, and not everybody delivers the exposition in an interesting way. I thought that his switch from the loudmouth, vulgar, funny guy that'd be dropping really jokes here and there to how he switches over to a serious tone and a caring tone when he's talking to Bethany, I thought that was really, really great. And the conversation that really opened my eyes to that is when Bethany finds out she's the scion. She's the great granddaughter of Jesus Christ, which I thought was an insane idea. But I love the concept of that, and really started piquing my interest in this film. And he talked about how the Bible, not only left him out of it, but left out the fact that, Jesus Christ finds out he's the Son of God at 12, and then it kind of just skips over to when he's 30, and it's like, what happened in between there? How did he deal with the fact that he found out this information? What was his journey? We don't know any of that. And I think that's important information as well to color the type of person or type of entity Jesus Christ was and God in that relationship. So I thought that was an interesting conversation he brought up, and it related to Bethany's struggle of finding this out now after just kind of like losing her faith throughout the movie and keep talking about why she doesn't really believe, even though she goes to church every weekend. So I thought all that stuff brought a lot of the themes with both of those characters home. And then next up, Matt Damon as Loki and Ben Affleck as Bartleby. I thought they were really great together. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck have been at it together for a long time, done a lot of movies. They are like the best of friends. They have really, really great chemistry. And this is when they're pretty young. I don't know if this is their first time working together. Probably not. But you can see the inner workings of how they act today. I think Matt Damon's a better actor now than he was in this film. Ben Affleck, I feel like this was like, how Ben Affleck kind of acts in a lot of his movies right now. He was, to me, ahead of Matt Damon in terms of the level of acting in this film, but he had the most interesting arc and story in this film. He started off as this calm angel who had a strife with God, but still kind of feel like he kind of believed in him and just wanted to go home. While Matt Damon's Loki is, an agent of chaos. That's what Loki is in mythology, and it's just really funny that that's basically what he did. He was killing people and judging them based on sins that you get from the Bible, things that we don't really think people should die for, but you think God is a vengeful God. He used to be, at least. So I thought everything going on with them not being aware that they're going to wipe out existence, them not being aware that entities from hell and heaven and on earth are chasing after them, and they're just going on about their merry way and judging people. And I think the scene, which was peak for them together as a group, was the boardroom scene where they judge those boardroom members who I feel like was a stand-in for Disney. When I really started thinking about it with the mascot and how it kind of was like similar to Mickey Mouse to me, and it was judging like some of the things that Disney has gone through in the past and some of the dark things that they've done, but you don't really talk about because all the great entertainment and childlike entertainment they give. I think that was a really good parallel, especially, when you hear things about Disney right now, when it comes to like what they did with Mulan, and they used, internment camps in another country to do cheap labor and filming for that film. So I think that they touched on a lot of great things there, and obviously it was an exaggeration, satirical, but it was really fun, funny, and had a good message. And that's when this movie is at its peak, when it can combine both of those three at the same time. When my interest in this film really started was when all the characters, the protagonists and the antagonists, were on the train together, not knowing that they're on the same mission to get to New Jersey, but to foil each other. So I thought that was really great, seeing them all interact and get along, and seeing that, they could get along with each other. And I think that the actress who played Bethany, her acting was the best when she was beside Ben Affleck. I think that they brought a lot of great things out of each other. Him having a conversation with her about breaking up with someone in love and them not listening, and he's talking about God and she's talking about her ex-husband, and how like those things are so similar, but his is just like on a bigger, grander scale. And then the chaos that ensued after they all find out that Bethany is the sign that's there to stop them or kill the two angels. I thought that all that was really funny, especially Silent Bob throwing the angels out of the train and everything that happened there. I thought all that stuff was good. And then it led into the forest scene that I talked about earlier with Chris Rock and Bethany having that conversation. So all that was really entertaining, and it really piqued my interest, and that's when I really started liking the film a bit more. And I think all the characters together were really good, and I wish they were together more in the film instead of separate pods throughout the film. The most vital part, the most interesting part, the most exciting part of the film is the last 30 minutes of the film, of the last 30 minutes of that third act, which is really funny because this movie came out in 1999, so I was about 9 years old when the film came out, and I've probably seen the last 30 minutes of this film about 5 or 6 times, not knowing what the name of the film was, what happened in the 2 hours or hour and a half before it, just seeing it and not be able to catch the beginning, middle, or end of the film, and always being fascinated because as a little kid, like, whoa, this is absolutely crazy. The ideas that they were talking about, God being in a human form, and all these different things they were doing, the angels killing all these people, it was just mind blowing for me. And as an adult, I've always tried to articulate what this movie was and find out what it was so I can watch it, and it's just really great that the channel brought it together for me to find the movie and see it. So I thought that the third act was really exciting because all the elements of the film, the comedy, the satirical elements, the action, and all the character arcs started coming together. Bethany's, accepting that she's the scion and taking charge. Jay and Silent Bob really coming in and being those prophets and trying to help. Rufus and Salma Hayek as Serendipity, which I thought she did a really great job as that character, trying to take down Ben Affleck's Bartleby. And that switch of character, like in the beginning, like I said, Loki was the agent of chaos. He's killing people. He's doing all these crazy things. And Ben Affleck's Bartleby was more calm and want to do things the right way, not cause a lot of attention on them. But then it's switching with Loki being like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this. This might be too extreme. And Bartleby like, no, let's cause all the chaos. Let's kill everybody and we'll be forgiven anyway. And I thought that was really cool switch of perspectives and character. And I think Ben Affleck's acting started to really shine in those moments. He started to wake up in those moments, and everything he did with just the wings and how practical effects and how they looked great, I thought That third act was phenomenal and ending in a whimsical, epic way with God coming to human form and it being a woman and it's her or he or it speaking and blowing up Bartleby. That's the moment I remember from my childhood. I was like, I need to see this film if this part is so awesome. So it was cool to see it again as an adult and still think it was pretty cool. For the first hour of this film, I was kind of bored. I'm not going to lie. I was absolutely bored because for me to really enjoy a film, I have to be entertained or be invested in the main character. And I really wasn't invested in Bethany for most of this film, probably for 80% of this film. I think that actress Linda Fiorentino, she was very beautiful in the film. And I'm pretty sure she's a solid actress and she's probably done other roles that she did a great job in. And she's probably a lovely person. It's not an indictment on her as a person. But her as Bethany was so bland. It was so boring. I could not get invested in her at all. Her line delivery felt lethargic. I felt like a lot of things that were actually happening that was crazy in the film, that she didn't really react the way that I thought someone would react seeing it, like the blazing fire of Monotron, I think it was, coming in and talking to her. She looked excited at first, but then she kind of like sat down and was just calm, like she knew this was coming, and I don't think that was ever hinted in the film. And seeing his genitals, she didn't make any smirky remarks or react any certain type of way, being transported places, seeing a shit demon. There's just so many crazy things that happen in this film. And she kind of just tanked it emotionally. And it made it hard for me to get invested in her character to the point where I didn't care about the stakes because I was rooting for the angels because they were so charismatic and fun. And I understood why they were the way they were. And they kept telling me why Bethany was the way they were, but I didn't feel it coming from the character itself. So that really hurt my experience in that first hour. Till like Chris Rock came in and they started interacting with other people, and then once they started bouncing off each other, things got more interesting because I didn't have to focus on her performance as much. And then that's on the serious dramatic side of the film, but on the satirical comedy side for that first hour, a lot of it stands on Jay and Silent Bob. And I realize I've seen clips of Jay and Silent Bob. I've seen other things of Jay and Silent Bob, but I don't find them funny. I think Silent Bob sometimes expressions were funny in here, and like I said, I really liked them on the train. But overall, I just think that they didn't make me laugh. I didn't smile. I didn't think it was really funny. I thought they were just really vulgar to be vulgar's sake, but not in a sassy or well-written comedic way. They just don't do anything for me at all. So for first hour to depend on them so much and then sprinkled throughout the film, a lot of it was just them. It cut back on the Jay and Silent Bob as the cast started coming together, but every time they talked, I was just like, okay. So that really hurt the film a lot for me and my enjoyment of it, and that's why that first hour didn't work. And if you don't like of a full half of a movie, it's hard for you to say it's a great movie, because the second half was just a little more interesting. It wasn't like the second half was like this fantastical thing that blew my mind. So those are the things that really, really hurt the film for me, other than like a little bit of nitpicks things here and there that I don't really want to have to get into, like exposition and certain characters. But those are the main things that hurt my enjoyment of the film overall. Now let's get into my verdict. So overall, I see why this film is a cult classic. I see why a lot of people like it. I see why some people don't like it, but I see why it's revered so much, because it's a risky film that he executed. And if you enjoy all the characters and if you enjoy the humor, I think this is a banger film for people who enjoy all that. But for me, who didn't enjoy all the characters that were there and didn't enjoy a lot of the humor, it fell flat for me. This movie kind of fell flat for me overall because I wasn't super invested in a lot of it. I'm glad that it was made, because it has a lot of interesting conversations done in it. And I know that a lot of people loved it, so I'm glad it brought joy to some people. But for me, this is a one-time watch. And I just didn't really care for it overall. It's not for me, basically. So with that said, I'm going to give it a C. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What would you rate Dogma? Let me know your favorite moments from the film. Did you feel how I feel and thought it was underwhelming? Or do you think it's one of the best movies of all time, or somewhere in between? Let me know how you thought about my review overall and debate my thoughts. Like the video if you like the review. Subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you can be notified of my reviews, reactions, ranking lists, live discussions, and more. Subscribe to the channel so you can be part of Throwback Thursdays. Go on that community tab, vote for these films, and see what I can review and get my reactions from these old school flicks. And you can watch more of my content right now.